There are plenty of emotions you feel when watching movies. Sadness, excitement, hype, fear. Basically, you have a chance of feeling anything while you're watching a movie. But some are not as common as the others, and weirded out is something that you do not feel every time. Confusion, ladies and gentlemen. You're sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? And I think it's important to highlight these times of weird. It could be because it changes the way you think about real life, or because the characters on screen gave you nightmares, or maybe, just maybe, it's because the movie is just odd as fuck, man. What else am I supposed to say? I'm going to start off on the tame side this time around because that last movie is something strange for a little piece of change. Remember, there is a fine line between weird and disturbing, because disturbing movies, well, that's a whole nother video. I shouldn't even have to say what I'm about to say. Y'all know time is something I do not like to waste. Get me to these movies, man. Let's start off with something to get the ball rolling. Now, I don't know if the Truman Show is necessarily weird because of the movie itself, but try to put yourself in Truman's shoes, okay? We start off on a title card where a bunch of people are playing different roles, except for this title card because Truman is just playing himself. He's walking around talking to his neighbors until something falls out of the sky. Something that looks like an overhead light, but we can't spend too much time on that because no matter where Truman is going, these people around him are watching. We learn a lot about Truman, that he has a very deadly fear of water, and his wife and his best friends keep doing advertisements in my face. And Truman is getting antsy-pantsy in this bullshit-ass town. We learn that Truman's fear stems from his father going down under. Now, this is where it gets weird. We learn that Truman's life is actually on TV. Okay. And he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that his life is not real. Do you know how scary that is? Your whole life on display. Truman continues to go throughout his routine until Bro Chachino spots his dead father, and Bro immediately gets yoinked, and everyone is trying to stop Truman in his tracks. His mother is straight up gaslighting his bitch ass, and we get flashback sequences of Truman and this girl from his high school who spills the beans to Truman in an attempt to free him from this fake life. Now that's a real. You can tell her words have rung throughout Truman's head. You can tell, so much so that my brethren has reconstructed her face on the back of his wife's framed photo. Now that's kind of based upon my life. Okay, true. Truman is now paranoid, and I would be too. He's hearing his every move on the radio. He's finally noticing all of the people who are dead watching him, and Truman begins to experiment by stopping cars, running into places quickly, and he sees a full-blown set with actors eating food. This has to be illegal. Truman tries to confide in his best friend. Does he know? But the big thing that ticked Truman off is that he spots his wife crossing her fingers during their wedding. He doesn't trust anyone anymore. This is when Truman decides he's finally going to take that trip to Fiji that he's been planning. But no matter how hard he tries, nothing ever works. His bus breaks down. There's no flights leaving for Fiji. My mans can't even go to Chicago. So he kidnaps his wife, and the production team can't put one of the actors in danger. So Truman finally gets to the edge of the city. He drives over water and through fire and through nuclear plants. This doesn't last long though, and they catch his ass and send him back home, where Truman finally breaks down. He starts attacking his wife, where she finally breaks and calls for help from the production team. He's got her ass. Just then, Truman's father comes back to life, but even he is a pawn of the show. During an interview with the director Christoph, we see that Truman has had multiple attempts to leave this show throughout his whole life, and each time he has been stopped. This is when Sylvia, the woman who tried to warn Truman all those years ago, has had enough and tells Psycho Baldy that he's fucked up. Truman fakes his way through the day, keeping everything cool until nightfall arrives, where he plays these fools like a fucking fiddle, faking a sleeping bag and disappearing. The entire town goes to look for Truman, but too little, too late. He's already in the sea. He's flying through storms, singing songs, and damn, they're really trying to kill him. But not today, because Truman finally hits the outer wall. To be honest though, no matter what happens, I don't think he'll ever be able to trust anyone again. This dude's whole life was a lie. But that's over now. Truman takes his bow and leaves it all behind. Yeah, boom, that's what I like to see.
I was in the forest wrestling with a bear claw when we got the call.
A classic, ladies and gentlemen. This movie is a classic. We start off on a beautiful fall day as this little girl is enjoying life. She's riding her tricycle around the neighborhood singing tunes until she crashes and gets stuck. And she gets stuck in the one place she shouldn't have. He senses fear. This old man named Mr. Nevercracker wants no one on his lawn. And did you just see him rip that metal tricycle apart? This dude is Thor. We learn that this kid DJ has been spying on Mr. Nevercracker, keeping tabs on all of the crimes this old man has been up to. DJ tries to warn his parents, but they call him out for spending all of his time spying on an old dude, which is kind of true actually. We meet Chowder as DJ's parents hit him with a car. We see that Chowder is trying to be LeBron James, but he throws the ball at his own face, and unfortunately it ends up on Mr. Nevercracker's lawn. And there's just no way the ball rolled that far. I mean, that shit is deep into his lawn. DJ, being the good friend that he is, he takes one for the team and hauls ass onto Mr. Nevercracker's lawn in retrieval for Chowder's basketball. But he must have lost his damn mind because Mr. Nevercracker charges in, and in defense, DJ kicks up some grass, forcing Mr. Nevercracker into a rage. Again, this cannot be legal. I cannot believe the strength of this old man. He is fully lifting Brochachino. But not for long because Mr. Nevercracker has a heart attack. The ambulance comes, he drops a key, and geez, this grass keeps getting caught. We get a classic mean babysitter trope as DJ is dealing with the fact that he just killed an old man. As he tries to sleep it off, we get this. But it's just a dream because DJ gets woken up by a phone call, but nothing seems to be on the other line until DJ calls it back and the phone rings from inside Mr. Nevercracker's house. How can DJ even hear that far? Does everyone in this movie have superpowers? We meet Bones as Elizabeth and him toy around with DJ, but don't worry because Bones just straight up dies after being eaten by the house. DJ and Chowder meet up at an old construction site where they come up with a plan to sneak into the house. This plan obviously doesn't work as the monster house comes to life and almost eats Chowder like it did Bones. Next morning, we meet this girl, Jenny, who first fries both DJ and Chowder.
Are you guys mentally challenged?
And then almost gets eaten alive, barely escaping because of the babysitter coming outside. Chowder and DJ start fighting over who gets to talk to Jenny, even though there is much bigger problems on their plate. Due to the man-eating house, they decide to call the police, who are by far the greatest characters in this movie, but they don't believe them obviously, so they decide to meet up with this dude who tells them there is a monster fused with a human soul to create
Domus Spectibilis.
And the only way to defeat it is to strike it at the heart. With this new information, the kids come up with a plan to destroy it once and for all, and actually, it was a pretty good idea until these dumbass cops pull up and soil it. And then the monster puts belt to ass on both of the cops, eats the car that all three kids were locked in, and now we are trapped inside the monster house. But it's not over just yet because as the sun sets, the house sets too. So DJ, Jenny, and Chowder are inside the house and have no other choice but to stake it at the heart themselves. As they travel deeper and deeper, they stumble upon all of the toys Mr. Nevercracker has stolen over the years. But that's not it. Tucked all the way in the back, they come across a locked cage containing a cemented tomb of a woman named Constance. Due to DJ's clumsiness, the house wakes up and begins to attack the three of them. But using quick thinking, Jenny jumps onto its uvula, causing it to spit them out. In the face of defeat, Mr. Nevercracker shows up. Wait a minute. I thought he died and possessed the house. I was wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We flash back to the younger days of Old Man Nevercracker, where he is head over heels for this one named Constance. They fall in love and run away together, where they build a house. And Constance is very easily rage baited by the trick-or-treaters of this neighborhood, even though where the fuck are they? This is not a neighborhood. The trick-or-treaters launch an egg at Constance's head, causing her to fall and cement herself in the basement. So, Nevercracker was never the bad guy. This realization causes Constance to fully emerge, and in an attempt to save the kids, Mr. Nevercracker tells his wife that she has been bad, and it's time to stop this. This doesn't bode too well, and it's left up to DJ, Jenny, and Chowder to end this, which they do by blowing that bitch up, setting Mr. Nevercracker free and returning the toys to the kids of the neighborhood. Never would I thought I would talk about where the wild things are. Y'all have to remember this one. These creatures scarred me for life back in the day. First, we get jump scared by Potato Chip chasing his dog around with a knife. And we gotta call somebody for that, but that's nonetheless. This dude Max just wants to play in the snow with his sister, but obviously she's too cool for school, and in an attempt to have some fun, Claire and her friends end up wrecking this igloo that made my boy very upset. I mean, come on. That's fucked up. In return, Max starts laying the smackdown on Claire's room. I mean, he's getting snow up in the sheets, throwing shit at the wall, he's breaking stuff. I mean, he's doing a lot of damage around there, which is not good because Mom's over here is struggling with the bills, and Max keeps fucking up because as she has some company over, He lashes out once again, biting the fuck out of her shoulder and running off into the night, freaking out in the woods, and finally finding a boat and sailing into the water. We get a classic crash sequence, and there seems to be a lot of those going on because Max ends up in a place with these weird ass looking creatures who can knock down trees in one punch. And man, I'll tell you something. These things creeped me the fuck out when I was growing up. But not Max. This dude just runs over here making all types of noise, catching the attention of every single one of these fucking creatures. Especially this one, voiced by...
This guy gets it.
Holy shit, is that Tony Soprano? They start bonding over destruction as some of the other wild things start to creep towards Max and say that they're going to eat him. He's cornered by man-eating whatever the fuck these things are, and it looks like it's the end for him, but no. Max takes a page out of Usopp's book and starts spewing straight bullshit to these creatures. Max is talking like he's some all-powerful being and a king and all that jazz. And to his surprise, these stupid motherfuckers believe this shit, and they believe it so hard that Max becomes king overnight in like 2 seconds. We meet all of the creatures and they're doing fun shit together and everything seems okay. For now, Tony Soprano and Max seem to have the closest relationship, and Max is being led throughout their land like he owns that shit. And technically he does. Everything is his. He is the king. Jobs start being assigned like building and tunneling and making ice cream and shit, and Judith here is starting to doubt Max's leadership skills. In turn, he throws a tantrum right in front of her. This leads Max to these two owls where he asks them how to make everyone feel okay, and they aren't too good at speaking, so this was kind of pointless. Carol, aka Tony, is not much of a fan of these two owl friends and wants to cut their brains out. These creatures are just like 0 to 100 when it comes to violence. So to combat this, Max proposes a rock snowball fight. And this also doesn't work, and everyone just continues to get pissed at each other, and pretty soon it's starting to reflect onto Max's leadership skills. And now Carol is causing mass hysteria with all of these creatures, saying the sun is dead, and he's getting very violent with Max over here, who can't do shit because he doesn't know how to do what he's asking him to do. This is when Bird Dude over here reveals that he knew Max wasn't a king with special powers, and he knew Max was basically just trolling. This causes Carol to go into a frenzy, and he starts attacking Max, saying that he's going to eat him alive. This is when Max runs to KW, where he crawls into her mouth to escape from Carol. And why is a raccoon there? Max eventually goes back to the lot of them and reveals that he's truly just a dude named Max, and it's much to Carol's disappointment.
I'm Max.
Well, that's not very much.
So Max decides to leave this place and go back home. But Carol can't leave it on these terms, and he runs back to say his final goodbye, and Max returns home with the new knowledge of who he is. This shit was still weird though. I mean, what the fuck were those things? I remember when I first watched Poor Things, and let me tell you guys something.
Kinda freaky.
We start off with this girl right here, and she seems like she's kind of looking down at something. What's she looking at? Oh my! We cut to Gwen Stacy playing the piano. Not well, but playing it nonetheless. This is when we meet her father, Norman Osborn, and holy schmoly! We got duck dogs and lectures and breaking plates, and we learn that Gwen Stacy is actually Bella Baxter, a woman who suffered a brain injury and was put back together by Godwin Baxter. We see the process of her getting her abilities step by step, and what are these animals, man? These are not normal animals. As Bella gets smarter and smarter, she begins to want to experience the world, and this dude, McCandles, wants to know what the fuck happened to Bella for her to end up like this. And you see the woman who launched herself earlier in the movie into the water was actually Bella, who was pregnant, and Godwin Baxter put the brain of the infant into Bella's mind, ultimately reanimating her. This cuts to us seeing Bella and a cucumber, and I will let you folks determine what kind of scene this was. Now we are at a dinner between McCandles and Godwin where they talk about McCandles getting married to Bella, which McCandles agrees to under the circumstances that they stay in the house. This is cut short, however, as Mr. Duncan here convinces Bella to run away with him, which she agrees to, and not only to that. Yes, this movie does have an odd amount of scenes that only seem to pop up when your parents enter the room. We are now in Lisbon, where Duncan and Bella explore the town, eat food, and listen to music. And I cannot express this enough. Do not watch this movie when others are around you. However, Bella is not fulfilled with this adventure with Duncan. Back at the crib, Green Goblin and Candleman continue to eat. Well, why are they always eating? They both get a postcard from Bella letting them know that she's okay. She gets drunk, orders like 4 entrees, and dances. A lover's quarrel breaks out as Duncan is sobbing at the bar, and Bella tries her best to comfort him to the best of her abilities. Meanwhile, McCandles and Godwin are having a full-blown breakdown in Bella's absence, and now she is on a boat where the Hulk and herself are having a disagreement, and we learn that the boat is heading to Athens in 3 days. Due to Bella being gone and in the name of science, Godwin and McCandles have made another version of Bella, this time named Felicity, and for some reason, they keep throwing dodgeballs at her face. Back on the boat, Bella is doing some reading with her new friends, much to the distaste of Duncan, who tries to kill this old lady. Bella then has a breakdown, steals Duncan's money, and has another breakdown, and now we're in Paris, where Bella gets a job at a brothel, and we can 1-2 skip a few past these scenes because none of it can be shown on YouTube. Again, do not have company when watching this movie. Bella meets this woman, Toinette. They both return home, her and McCandles smooch and almost get married, until the OG husband of Bella pre-jump crashes the wedding, and we find out that he was kind of an asshole, so they lobotomize the OG husband. Norman Osborn dies, and Bella, McCandles, Felicity, and Toinette sip on that sweet nectar as the credits roll. Overall, weird movies do have a special place in the film world because nothing can replace that what the fuck feeling when watching for the first time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you think some weird ass movies are and what else you'd like me to talk about. I'll see you guys in the next video.